Hey, hey, hey. We should probably fix that while we're here. Just get rid of it, we don't need it. Morning, morning, how are we? Delete all those logs as well, too many there. No, that one was drunk. It was replacing immersive engineering molds with the casting ones. But obviously casting doesn't have a whatever mold that was, 2x4. But for some reason I thought it did. Now we get to play a game of find the ID of a screen. Because what we want to do is ban the quest book from the shaders. Because it does look very dark. Well, I've enabled the shader dump thing, which apparently helps you find the render method. But I have no idea where that is because it's not in the latest log or the debug log. So we could just check the source code for FTB quests. Which honestly might be easier. FTP Quest client handler event implementation. Could be that. Yeah, I thought we was going to show in the logs, but I can't see it unless I'm being completely blind. Oh wait, it's there. Well, then we don't need to look at the source code. Guessing we want to do both. And I'm guessing it doesn't matter what the window is. I know, right? It's quite unlike me to miss something so blatantly obvious. Well, I mean, that kind of worked. But it's still doing like a overlay. So there must be more. Maybe this one. We'll go that one as well. That looks right. Well, that was the big thing we needed to fix, because it did look very dark. Now, unless anything else has come up, I believe that is it. So that translation now works. The stripping now works. What does it not do? Render in dark mode. I could have sworn I fixed that. some reason it downloaded A2 Dark Mode Resource Pack, but that didn't even fix the block GUI. I mean, I guess in the rendering they're doing something a bit different, which is bizarre because the actual rendering methods are pretty good for screens. They all just kind of do what you need them to do. Well, that's the problem. I didn't actually push the update. I was going to say, I definitely did fix it. So let's publish both of them to Curse and Modrinth. I thought there was a way you could see your most popular project on Modrinth, but I don't think you can. Just quite interested to see what is the most popular mod on Modrinth, like the Opolis ones. Show, it doesn't actually show. Oh no, wait, it does. So the most popular is Opolis Utilities. 1,783 downloads. And then surprisingly, it's Core. 1,521. They must have changed something in the way their screen renders. Yeah, it's quite good considering that there's no BBL mod pack on Modrinth. It means it's actually all individual downloads. So once the Cloche update's live, we'll test the server and then we'll probably just push this as it is. And I think there's a good chance the next version will be a release. The third most popular one, so obviously it goes Opolis Utilities, then Core, then it's actually Oceanopolis, which you might not even heard of. But that was the mod in one of the Seopolises that added the structures on the water and the custom blocks. No, I did not add the overlays mod. I'll do that now. Oh, we need to fix the harvest level of crafters as well, actually. So we'll quickly do that. We're going to do it in hard mode. We're not going to check it until we load the game. So I believe we just need to remove the requires iron tool tag. Okay, we need to guess the ID. I'm going to say it's from RF Tools Utilities. So I'm going to say RF Tools Utilities : crafter underscore T1. I don't think it's going to be that though. Okay, so we can test it now. There's logical and then there's actually being what it is. Like we've seen from Contained. Oritech and Just Die Things name their stuff so weird. But then so certain mods as well, like Mechanism, always name their ingots a bit differently as well. So Minecraft and most mods do their mod name : whatever ingot. Whereas Mechanism do Mechanism : ingot iron, ingot osmium, ingot uranium, whatever it is. But I think that's the old ID system, how it used to be. I mean, not that you can really see it, but it does work, the overlay. Oh, see that? I mean, well, I never was going to guess that. Crafter 1. And it's utility, not utilities. But apart from that, perfect. Interesting that it didn't actually show an error there either. So we reverted the custom machinery update as well, so that the singularities still work. We still have 3 recipes that have the same ID, and no way to track them. The custom machinery one did, yeah. So, do you remember the original recipe for the undefined singularity? Used the, you know, the ones that explode and they get given their own ID for something. I can't remember what it was. So that was a bug in the mod. So the item requirement didn't require any data components, yet the recipe would only accept it if it was completely clear of data components, even though it doesn't actually specify it needs data components. It should just work with the item. So that was fixed, but in fixing it, the outputs all become an instance of the default item and not with the MBT, which is why all the singularities were shown as null, because a singularity with no singularity ID is null. But as I say, we just reverted it back. Yeah, it's not too bad because we actually changed the recipe anyway to fix that problem. So leaving it the way it is probably just fine anyway. It's just in the future it needs to be fixed for anyone else that's using it. But I do believe that is it. Maybe we take a look at Evolved afterwards, just quickly. I think we're going to leave it for the minute. Mainly because I don't know what it actually achieves. Because you'd have flight anyway. And the travel anchors are usually I know they could be configured the range, but you'd rather just fly there, I think. I don't know, if more people ask for it, we'll probably look at it, but I don't want to blow it out with anything that we don't really need. Yeah, there's options in it, and obviously waystones as well. If you wanted to go to certain like parts of a factory, for example, you just waystones would probably be better. And the homestone. Like, there's a lot of ways to do it. Right, let's launch the test server. Oh yeah, mechanism teleporters. I forgot about them. So there are options. I know I understand it's an easier option to add the travel anchors, but I just don't think it's really in the spirit of the pack. As I say, if more people ask for it, we could probably look at adding it, but I don't see it being a priority. So does casting, thinking about it as well. Casting has teleportation. I forgot about that. There's loads of ways to do it then. Casting, mechanism, waystones, AE, or actually additions even. How funny is this, right? So reading the logs as the server loads. Cube.js has found 2 recipes with the same ID. Not 3. So make that make sense. Because in the game it says 3. And in the logs it says 2. That worked first time. It doesn't say anymore, to be fair. To be fair, so the recipes are one of the last things actually added. So if you look now, the recipes get loaded and then the world loads, and then that is it. So the recipes is the second to last major thing to load. And then dimensions load, but it's slightly different for normal single player worlds, because I don't think every dimension's loaded at the same time in single player where it is in servers. But the very last thing is immersive engineering, adding recipes for potions. So as always, we check that we've actually servers working with something that we've changed. So void crystals for coal, we can check that, and black quartz. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, so we'll export that now. Right, so that's exporting. Don't know how long that will take, but we'll soon see. Techopolis has done quite well in the last few days though. from 3rd of May till now, 3.3 thousand downloads. That's pretty good. Also, Techopolis 3 has actually taken, well, it's gone past what Skyhawkless Evolved ever did. No, you can't do 12 miners with one structure, no. That was the only machine that we changed. All the other ones that are symmetrical you can double up or triple up or quadruple up on. But the miners you can't. Mainly because you could just get so much off one miner, it just didn't make sense. Yeah, we fixed that. We actually ended up doing the same fix that we did before. Except this one worked for creative mode, which was quite nice. I didn't know there was 1.26 snapshots coming out. I don't know if we're ever going to get 1.22, you know. So that is Techopolis 3 updated. Now I need to install Evolved because I don't have it. Evolved was only updated like a week ago, and there's so many mod updates. I think all we really care about is updating the BBL stuff. I mean, that ship sailed a long time ago, that. Pretty sure we updated it the other day. I've just updated everything and we'll see what happens. I say a lot of the mods in Tech are actually in Evolved as well. And it's usually the major stuff like it's AE2, FTB, a couple of library mods. So it should be alright. We're on like the latest version of NeoForge as well, so that should be fine. Oh no, there is NeoForge 21.170 now. It's nothing update. Prevented block capability cache keeping compatibility references for too long. Don't think that involves anything we do. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've noticed that this bar hasn't moved. That has to count as a crash. So the two bugs that we're looking at is we can't do anything about the save one because I don't know what that is. But the leaves in the vat is a bit of a weird one. So this recipe here, and I could already see what the problem is, I think. Well, I'm going to guess, because I don't think Neoforge or Fabric add a leaves tag. So it should be Minecraft leaves. But the strange thing is, it never got changed. So I don't know why that was ever a thing. I'm sure it's not a tag. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know why that changed. Unless we added something where the leaves tag was added, but then a mod broke it. I mean, we could check what it changed. So it worked on B2. Which is interesting because it is actually the same recipe. The recipe must have worked because I'm sure it was working. It's possible. I'm going to guess that something added that tag at some point and it was showing, and then maybe those tags were changed to like coincide with the Minecraft one, because I only found out about the Minecraft leaves tag when I was working on colours, I think, because I just assumed that it had a Neoforge tag or Fabric tag, whatever you want to call them. Well, that was a relatively simple fix. Yeah, it is a strange one though, why it stopped. As I say, that's the only thing I can think of that a mod added that tag. I just used it in the recipe because it existed, and then it disappeared. It's the only thing I can think of. Because obviously the VAT recipe is a custom recipe. was an error during installation. Oh dear. Missing mod ID Minecraft. That's always good, isn't it? Yes, there is. There's an ETA for the alpha version. The one that Patreon VIPs get. But I don't think anyone knows the date yet apart from me. The alpha will probably be out soon. I reckon. So we never have an alpha when there's a beta pack still out. So currently Techopolis is still beta. So until that gets released, there won't be a Farmopolis alpha. But Techopolis is probably going to get a full release very soon, which means it will be time to do an alpha of Farmopolis. There might even be a chance that there'll be two packs in alpha. I'd rather it wasn't 2 packs, but Farmopolis isn't that big, so don't think it's going to need too much testing before it actually gets released. Because we always try and do large massive scale mod pack and then a smaller one and then back to a large one. So obviously the last one we done was Tech Free, which was massive. So the next one was going to be contained, but it's not contained now. So it'll probably be Farmopolis as a smaller scale pack, which I think it fits quite nicely as being a smaller one. And then contained is going to be the next big one, which is the collab one. So the thing is, so after Farmopolis, so to be fair, 1.21 we've done a hell of a lot. I didn't think we'd do as much as what we've done. But obviously it started with Opolis Inc., I think. Or was there something before that? Yeah, so we had Opolis Inc., then we had Evolved, then we had Techopolis, then it's going to be Farmopolis, then it's going to be Contained. So there's going to be 5 major packs for 1.21. I think that's because the life cycle for 1.21 was a bit longer than expected. Like by now there's usually some sort of murmurs that there's going to be a next major update. But there's been nothing like that, and it seems like the next one is 1.21.6, which is still not a classic major update. Yeah, I think that's mainly it. The thing is, I don't know what a major update looked like anymore for Minecraft, because they go into this like 1.21.2 had lots of features. So I don't know what a 1.22 would look like, because to bump it up a whole version it needs to be something major, right? That's the idea behind it. Unless they're completely changing it and it's always going to be 1.21 from now on. But I think the biggest issue with the current structure and the way they do it is there's so many changes between, well, previously minor versions. If you get to know AE2, you will love AE2. It helps you so much. It was interesting as well because I wanted to support both Fabric and Neoforge, but I don't know if that Fabric market is still there. And obviously the amount of mods that we have now, having to do dual releases could be hell. But maybe some of the less content rich ones, such as like in-world recipes maybe, could be ported over, but it's a hard one. Yeah, that's it. This is my point. Fabric used to, well, it was when Forge was going through that rough patch. It was really getting quite up there. But there was, so I think it's Cube.js. They have a not so much a tracker, but they can obviously see their downloads for Neoforge versus Fabric. And I'm sure that their Neoforge or Forge version was something like 92%, and now it's like 98% of their downloads. So it just shows you that the Fabric drop-off is quite big. But I suppose in the scale of Cube.js, if they have 1 million downloads, that's still like, I don't know, 8,000 people Fabric, is it? Is that 2%? I don't know. So it's quite a lot, but not a lot. Yeah, 20,000 downloads for Fabric versus 998,000. So it is quite a big difference. And even when Fabric was popular, it was still only about 8% of their downloads. I'm sure it was something like that. The numbers may be a little bit off, but it was something like that. So what do we want to do now? To be honest, this pack is probably not bad for if you just want to learn AE2, because there's nothing too like silly that you require like AE2 to do. Like there's not like recipes that require loads of stuff. There's the modularium stuff, but that's not too bad. But that probably will be a nice way to learn about it. Yeah, so we're pretty free to do whatever now. So we could either do some contained, we could do some Farmopolis, we could do some mod work. I am pretty open to do anything, so let me know what you think we should do now. Okay, we'll look at contained. I'm not sure if anything's been done since we was last on it. No, it doesn't look like it. How do I change the stream title? Do I have to do it on Twitch? No, I don't want to report it. No. I'm live on YouTube as well. I'm not going to stop the stream though. We'll change it on the scroll bar. Edit stream, edit title, stream details within the stream manager. I see. Well, I can't find any of that. Oh well. To be fair, the title does say send something else, so that should be fine. What mod adds the? What mod in this did we need the Fabric API for? I see. Don't think it is that. I think it's 1.2. It's not. It's 21.1, which actually makes sense. Contain doesn't have create, so I don't think it's that. Don't start confusing me with mixing up mod packs. Yeah, we have done a lot of file office. I don't know how much is really left to do in that. Obviously we need to tidy up that casting quest line because there's about 100 quests in there now, which needs to be spread more evenly. Thank you so much for the sub, it means a hell of a lot. Ah, I remember, so we were doing all the mods, weren't we? Yeah, it means a lot, thank you so much. I don't know why I put power done, I don't think power is done. Because this is what we last did, this Just Die stuff. And then oil. Okay, so I know roughly where we're at. Because this is going to be slightly different. Because I think we decided that this whole quest line may have a lot more quests in it. But the whole idea is you'll get to a point in one quest line that you'll need to go into another quest line to do bits in. So you can only do, say, half of the Just Die quest line before you have to go into Oritech. And then you may get so far in Oritech and realise, oh, actually, I need to do something in A2 or whatever. Yeah, so the idea was to get oil with Just Die things. And then make turbo fuel, if I recall. I think that was the idea. So what we need to do is look at what the next goo is. Looks like it's this void shimmer, which requires echo stuff. Actually, it's this one, which requires end stuff. How would we like to do the end? Maybe we've done the nether. I don't think we're going to need the nether though. In which case, maybe we don't need the end. Oh yeah, because the just dire stuff is going to concentrate on getting the nether and dimension stuff, I think. So it probably means we want to use this blazing gold for something to create some sort of end something. Maybe. I didn't know we had end stone in casting. Let's do the oil first. Yeah, that is a strange order to do it in, actually. Okay, so there's currently no way at all to get oil. Yeah, it is new. Well, it's new for 1.21. Just don't like the way these lasers look at you. So what are the options for oil? And what else is this used for? Catalyst. Polymorphic fluid. Unstable portal fluid. Time fluid. Unrefined blaze ember fuel. Raw blaze ember. Primal coal. Thing is, you won't be able to do these recipes because you can't place water. So we have to ignore that. Bow and tools. More tools. Upgrades. Portal gun. Advanced portal gun. Time one. So there's not really much you could do with that. Maybe we go with this. The unfortunate thing is this could be made with the tier 1 goo. Yeah, I think it is. So, thinking this now then, if we did primal coal to this, but only at the tier 2, And then with this we get the ember block. And then with the ember block we can... Oh, I was going to say transform that into oil. But it appears that it has its own recipes. I mean, we could force them to go down this route of the eclipse block. It's strange you don't need a higher tier for any of this. You're really going to start noticing names of stuff. Because some of the names are insane. Everything in Just Ice stuff is actually named so weirdly. Oh wait, it is alright here. I hate this. I hate that they have all of these as the catalysts and they show every version when it's only just 3. Okay, so that's fine then. So we go to this. This goo needs never warp, which is fine. I really like this goo craft. I think it's quite cool. Yeah, the same sort of theme as Astro, but completely different. I think the most crazy thing about this pack is that we don't actually use a single space mod. It's all done internally. I mean, look at the name of that. Raw coal underscore tier 2 underscore ore. And the name is Blaze Coal. Or Blaze Ember. I mean, fair play for naming it something like that and then having the name be completely different. I couldn't do that. I would never understand what anything was in my mod. What, the actual translated names? And then this stuff is used for the block. block is used for Void Flame with the tier 3 and 4. So we may have to use a in-world recipe where you place the block and it turns to oil, maybe. Or, no, I don't like the hammer, you can't really hammer it for oil. Definitely doing the block. We could use the centrifuge from Oritech. The centrifuge kind of makes sense because it extracts fluids. Or at least it's used here to extract fluid. So we could probably do that. And then maybe we could turn that back into primal coal. So there's kind of a loop there to continually get oil. That should be fine. That should be perfect, to be fair. Definitely should have made this a function. Also, Oritech. This is a weird one. So if you input this amount, 45,000, that equals 1,000. Or no, it equals 250. Oh no, equals, so that equals, so 45,000 fluid amount, whatever that is, equals 500 MB in normal Minecraft bucket system. I have absolutely no idea what unit they use for their fluid. Absolutely no idea. It's odd. Well, we can probably work it out. So 45,000 is 500 MB. Every MB is 90 whatever units Oritech uses. But they display their output in MB. So why are they using a random set of numbers? That's what I can't understand. Wait, is it not even that? It might actually be 81. So 45,000 is blaze powder lava, right? So let's check that. So 45,000 lava is 250 MB. Oh no, it's that one. Lava from centrifuge, lava drop. Yeah, this one. So 20,250 is 20. Oh no, 250 MB. So that must be wrong. Yeah, so that's wrong. So it's actually 40,500 is 500 MB. Obviously. But what is that logic? 40,500 equals 500 MB. I mean, that still didn't work. Well, I thought I had the conversion right, but it's still wrong. So we know that 20,250. Did I? I think I did do a reload. We'll try again in case it didn't. Otherwise, I've got no idea. I have to say, in terms of fluid, everyone does pretty much follow the same thing. Obviously, with casting, we tried to follow what other mods' conversions were for stuff, so we followed it basically bang on. But we also used the standard MB system. Yeah, we did reload and it is wrong. So 20,250 is 250 MB. We agree on that, right? Based on this recipe here. Makes 250. So doubling it should make 500. Which should be 40,500. But when we use 40,500, we get 555 MB. Which is wrong. So what on earth is their conversion? Does anybody have any idea what that could be? I am literally trying to look at their source code now. Because it's clearly not just a times thing, it's a times by an amount. Which again, I don't know why you'd be doing. We need to find their recipes, really. Can't even find their recipes. Can only find data gen for it. Burn time. Also high. What do you mean burn time? Oh my god, they used the same recipe type. Oh, this is cursed. What do you mean though by the burn time? That it's the burn time based on furnace fuel? Oh my god, so they don't actually set up their own custom recipes per custom machine? They have a generic recipe type for all their recipes. I've never ever seen anything like that. I think it's wrong because burn time for coal is only like 80 in it, so that'll be nowhere near. Plus, it's for all fluids, it's not just for lava. Yeah, this is bizarre. So, the recipes have, obviously, you can see here, the recipe types there, but it doesn't actually have its own discrete recipe matching or anything. It's all leads back to an Oritech recipe type. That is nuts. Fluid handler is saved as fluid stack dock bucket amount. Well, that doesn't make sense either. Oh no, I meant the recipe type here, on the Visual Studio Code. I've never seen anything like this. But it looks like the way they encode their fluid stack is, it's an optional, obviously, because they don't have to have it, of the fluid with the amount, but the amount is fluid stack dot bucket amount, which a bucket is 1,000 MBs, right? So that, by that logic, one would be a bucket. But I don't think that's going to be right. Because one bucket is 1,000 MB. This is still for blaze powder. I mean, that didn't even change. Am I editing the wrong recipe? What are we doing wrong? I think we were overriding the recipe because I'm done. I'm pretty sure that will be 500 now. Yeah. So I was accidentally overriding the recipe. It still doesn't change the fact that the value is completely wrong. I mean, what is that about? So for every 1 MB that you want to add, it's 81. So I think we do this. I think that's the clearest way of showing it. So just to make sure that we got the calculation correct, I've changed it to 1620, which should be 20 MB to make a blaze powder. Yeah. Why 81? I feel like we're missing the logic there. There's got to be some sort of logic behind that. Just want to find their data gen. Fluids water times by time multiplier. So it's to do with the time. It doesn't reference 81 anywhere in their code. So if we change the time to 100, what do we think that will do? Make it use double the amount or half the amount? I would say probably double the amount. Or absolutely nothing. So it's not time based. Even though it says in here that input fluid water time multiplier. I don't get it at all. Well, as I say, we'll change it to that. So where were we? Oh yeah, we're adding the other thing. Thank you very much for the sub on YouTube. Do you know another thing? They can, if they actually use their own recipe types per thing, you could have these fields not exist, and you could make them return optional inside the mod instead, which just makes this whole thing cleaner. Plus, they don't do sized ingredients, which is weird. Because of course, it's called steel oil. What's that stuff called? Coal block T2, obviously. So that should create some sort of a loop. So you make the Ember one, or the coal tier 2 block, centrifuge it to get the oil, and then it turns back into a tier 1. Yeah, there we go. So that is how you get the oil. Which means we can then look at this. I believe the recipe's already changed by ammonium to use electrum and redstone. Actually, it's probably this. Yeah, it was this one. So, do we like this recipe? I think that recipe's fine. I think that will work. The flux gate. I think we are going to use the particle accelerator. It's just where. Obviously, I think this whole Orotech quest leads to that. But we have to get there first. So we do actually need a way of getting platinum. So they're the spare colours we've got of asteroids. So I do wonder if, so obviously this goes off to oil and then in Orotech, but I think this quest should continue into the Ender stuff. So we need end stone. I mean, how are we going to do end stone? Do we have anywhere getting sand? We must do somewhere. Yeah, gravel to sand. So we could do sandstone. Can be transformed into endstone. Yeah, so cobblestone to gravel, gravel to sand, sand to sandstone. Thank you very much for the follow. Drop sandstone into polymorphic fluid. The issue with this is the water. But maybe we could make the oil transform into it. Or oil next to this. But the question is, will this work? Guess we could try. Polymorphic fluid source. I have to say, I'm so glad that we have that fluid API in core. It means we never have to worry about having the name. The name could always be right. Don't have to worry about adding source or anything. It's just all works. Yeah, the thing is, so I do need to probably have a look at how they do it, because they have this whole input and output thing, but they can also have block states in theirs, and that might be a good thing to add in core, in world recipes, because it'd be cool to be able to set the actual block state, especially for stuff like if you wanted to do crops. You could do any sort of seed crop, and then you'd use like a magic bone meal and it would instantly grow it or something. But obviously crops use block states, not separate blocks, so you can't technically do that now. But that might be something cool to add in the future. I'm going to add that to the list. So that should work if you say it already has fluid recipes that do this. Question is, I guess we won't know until it works. I mean, it doesn't look like it works. There's a good chance that needs to be an actual block. Though you are right, it does have this. Yeah, it seems by default it has it as well, unless it's slightly different syntax. Because this is where I can't stuck, because fluid and blocks are under different registries, even though fluids are blocks. Oh my god, the recipe's there, I forgot. What do we think this recipe is going to be called? Unrefined tier 3 block. It's not that. So the just die recipes, they're all inside one folder. There's 393 recipes. But the names are not very nice. Can't find it anywhere. Might need to use our cheat code. So we have to copy all of them out. We just have to delete that afterwards, I think. Where's my .recipes file gone? Okay, and then we need to find tier 4 fuel source. No? Just die things. Refined tier 4 fluid source. That is right. Yeah. So that's the recipe there. Refined underscore tier 4 underscore fluid block dash goose bread. Which looks exactly the same. Wait, what's this ID about? It's strange that they embed an ID inside the recipe. I didn't notice that before. Still not showing though. But this is. Oh, I wonder if it actually needs the properties. Because fluid does have a property value. Maybe that. Nope. But it's tier 2 anyway. Unknown registry key in block Oritex steel. So does this not have a block state? Block state falling. That's all they have. Oh yeah, no, that's correct. That should be fine then. I don't know why that isn't working. Because it shouldn't actually need the fluid. I have no idea why this isn't working. I mean, that's literally straight from another recipe, that. Oh, I see. I see, I see, I see. So actually... we don't have a block in casting. I wonder if the block is just the fluid block as well. Just for science, let's see if the casting blocks work. I want to say that it's set up that the casting molten iron is the name of the block and the name of the fluid to prevent confusion. Yeah, it totally is. That's okay, that's fine. Yeah, fluids are painful. They are very, very painful. So finally, that should now work. Hooray! Definitely needs to be a tier 2. And oil. Oh, thank you very much for the gifted sub. I do believe that's the first time we've ever been over 20 subs in a month, which is amazing. How do we know if this is working? I guess we just wait. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much. Well, that to me doesn't look like it's working. Should have definitely changed by now. Unless we have to do that as well. Please. Please work. To be fair, we do stream at all sorts of times. Yesterday it was quite, well, I say quite late. We started at 5 p.m. Today we started at what, 8:30 a.m. So we do try and stream a little bit varied. Fridays are usually around this time though. I mean, what does that mean? What if it's evaporating? I mean, the weirdest thing is it's just showing, so it should be working, right? Let's just try removing the block state. Oh yeah, that shows quite obvious straight away. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully you got on your bus alright. Well, I really don't know what to say. Let's see if we can narrow it down to what's not working, the input or the output. So it's the input. But we know the input's right because it shows in JEI. I probably should have left it and saw if it made the fluid. I don't even know what that's going to turn into. So the fluid does work on the output, which means that Orotech is doing something weird with their fluids. So we could try block again. Definitely not working. The thing is, this doesn't have layers either. Yeah, it still works. Oh, there you go, that's alright then. Yeah, this is bizarre. We might just have to leave that as it is, with just a note that it doesn't work. Super strange. What do you mean unrefined oil? There is no... Are you talking about Orotech unrefined oil? Because it looks like it's just steel oil is the only oil they have. The only thing I can think of is its block states. But that shouldn't matter. I mean, we could try switching the input and output and see if that makes a difference. It might work, but even so. Yeah, we're trying to make the polymorphic fluid. Yeah, there's something about the oil. There's something about this oil. Because as I say, we saw the portal fluid transform correctly. I know this sounds crazy, but you don't think it's already hard coded to work with just diafluids? Because there's no reason why the casting stuff shouldn't work. The only thing I can think of is it. Well, the thing is, it calls for the block registry, which we know we're doing anyway. Yes, we know casting does it. And we know that Oritech does it. So the blocks do exist. And the blocks must exist because it's showing JEI. But JEI must just show the block as a fluid. So that's how I would have done it. This is a tricky one because I don't actually know what the problem is. I mean, lava doesn't even work. Don't think they do. So if you go to just the right height, you can see on the right hand side it says targeted fluid, which tells you the fluid name, and it usually lists tags. So if I put water here, and fly back up, it should list tags. There you go. So it lists tags water, water. So it's definitely not a tag. Unless they're... Oh no, because that is the block. No, I don't know them. Oh no, it's not the block. because their fluid block is called that. Maybe we could check the tags. I really don't have any other ideas, so. No, it doesn't look like it. They've got a law mowerable tag. But that's about it. There's nothing in the shared tags either. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't have any idea. Well, as I say, we'll leave it as that, and then we'll just have to come back to it. Yeah, we might be best doing that. The glue recipes don't use any vanilla, do they? Oh, they do. So, hang on. Oh no, that's the recipe I added. So it's not that then. Yeah, we might have to ask on the Discord. As I say, I can't see. The only thing I can think of is the way that the recipe's translated in the game, and it based on their fluid registry, not the global fluid registry. That's the only thing I can think of. So does the throwing of the items into fluids, that doesn't transform the item, does it? So that will have to be an in-world recipe. Have we done a fluid one yet? No. This would be an interesting one. whether we detect that fluid. Because we read the fluid, global fluid registry. So it'd be interesting to see if it picks this up. Because if their own recipes are not using that as a fluid, and they're using the block version, it's a bit strange. Yeah, that doesn't work. They're definitely doing something with their fluids. See, I can't even detect it. Vid's so done today. Let's try that again. Yeah, so it is the right fluid we are using. So they do register their fluid to their fluid registry correctly. I suppose that's good news in some ways. Ender pearls are a funny one actually. Dragon breads could be quite hard as well. So probably is best kind of fragment route. And then maybe we would just replace Dragon's Breath with something else. So it'd probably be something like that, I think. That's great news. That's also a long time. And then we just need to replace this. Which I wondered if we can use something from A2. Whereabouts are you in the... You're in the UK, right? It's quite sunny where I am today. Not that windy by the looks of it. Hey, hey, hey. How are we? Oh, you're in Hungary? I thought you were UK. Yeah, it's not windy over here today. Oh yeah, made any good improvements? That does sound pretty good. Oh yeah, we still need platinum. That was the whole point of this. So I feel like this Void Shimmer then will make platinum. It's that, or actually wonder if one of these. No, it probably has to be this one. The Void Shimmer one will have to transform one of the asteroids into one of the other asteroids we haven't used to get platinum. So something like that probably works. Yeah, the stream's not too bad, I suppose, for your time zone. I do think, though, that is going to be it for today. So the only other person playing Techopolis is a Spanish streamer. So should we raid them? Well, we're raiding them anyway. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, probably around this time again. I'm not sure what we're going to do tomorrow. But I do want to look at bringing back Mod Pack with viewers soon. But we'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone. We'll definitely be doing something.